Morning.
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 How you doing?
Good. You had some quarterbacks back at practice yesterday, so that seemed like an encouraging development.
Correct.
How are they progressing right now, those two,
They did
Dante and Ethan?
Did a good job yesterday, and then we'll see how they continue to go through today and tomorrow and Friday. So, but it was good to get them all back.
Are they full go in practice, or still limited anyway?
They should be full go today. So.
Given the way that game ended, and clearly there were concerns about them, how encouraging is it that they are back and practicing?
It's very encouraging, and I think it's the credit to those guys and how they're built. So we'll see how Wednesday goes with them. So.
Grayson's unsportsmanlike on Saturday. It looked like it was for arguing with the ref again, and that was something that happened last year, if I remember correctly. Is that something you talked to him specifically about?
We talked to all of our players about everything. That this is a game that you have to play with emotion, not let emotion play with you. But I don't recall the one last year, so it wasn't. We didn't have any conversations about something that happened last year and something that happened this year. So.
How would you kind of assess? Arizona State obviously has some quarterback injuries right now. How would you assess their offense? Seems to be obviously struggling a little bit based on last week. How do you kind of assess?
Yeah, I think it's just based on last week. I think Kenny does a great job. Kenny did a great job when he was at Oregon. They present a lot of different issues. I think the running back's got to be who's a transfer. They're really utilizing him in a lot of different ways. He's thrown a bunch of passes. He's kicked. They've punted out of formations. They're going to give you a lot of exotic looks. They're going to attack you in all sorts of different ways. They run speed sweeps. They run unbalanced formations. They're going to give you a lot of different things to make you kind of be off base a little bit in terms of where they are and what they're doing. So I think they do a great job of attacking you. Not sure who's available at quarterback. We'll prepare for all of them. We played against Bourget last year. I think he's a really talented player. Gets the ball out of his hands very quickly. He's really smart. He's decisive in terms of making decisions. We saw that in last year's game playing against him. Thought he had a big game against us last year. So, but I think offensively they're going to give you the whole gamut, and you got to be prepared for everything when you play this team.
Do you see offenses get more exotic when they have kind of the offensive line issues they've had in terms of health?
No, I just think Kenny's really good at it as an offensive guy. He didn't have offensive line issues at Oregon, and he did a lot of different things too. I think he has a really good understanding. And he's a really bright offensive football coach.
When it comes to J.Mike, I think he had 3 catches, only had about 17 yards last game. I think in the Colorado game was only targeted once. What's the key to maybe getting him going?
It depends on how people are defending him, what our game plan is, what our quarterback situation is, and there's a lot of different factors that are involved in that.
Have you found that defenses are kind of focusing?
Yeah, there's people
him?
that focus on him, and I would focus on him too because he's a talented player. So I think that's part of the deal. Sometimes, but if you focus on him, then Logan. You look at Logan in the Colorado game. Logan had an outstanding game in the Colorado game. So I think it's when you have some depth at receiver that gives you that's beneficial to you. I've been on teams where there's only been one wideout, and they shut down the one wideout. You don't have a shot. So we were fortunate here. Our first couple of years here, we always had Kyle and Greg. So you had Dulcich and Phillips, both NFL guys now. So it was tough to gang up on one certain guy. So, if that's the choice for some people, we believe our other receivers and tight ends can affect you in the passing game.
Can he line up in the slot? Can you move him around and maybe do some other things?
He does line up in the slot.
Okay.
So I think two of his catches the other night against Arizona State, he was lined up in the slot.
A lot of the defensive players this week have talked about some dissension or disunity in terms of defense versus the offense. And is that something you've noticed or something you've had to deal with?
No, I think anytime you lose, everybody just gets frustrated, and that's part of the process that you have to go through when you lose a game. So I think that's you got to stick together as a team. We win as a team and we lose as a team. So that's just part of the nature when you lose. That I think sometimes people try to divide you. And sometimes it's the questions that are asked that try to divide them. So and they answer them the way you guys ask the questions. So, but I think this team's really close and really connected.
But are you saying that we tried to divide your team?
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that at all.
Is that something that you focus on from a head coach standpoint, or is that something
you always focus on your
leaders?
team? We rely on your team leaders. You rely on your position coaches. You rely on everybody in the program. So we always talk about it. You got to rally when you lose a game. So I think that's a big thing that everybody has to focus and concentrate on. But then what you have to rally on is how do I contribute to that? What role do I play in this, and what do I do? So I think that's part of the process that you go through whenever you lose a football game.
And Femi mentioned, I guess there was a video played featured Ray Lewis to try to kind of inspire the. Was there anything else done this week to maybe unify that group again?
No, because I mean, we don't really play a lot of videos during the week, so usually sometimes it's waited till the night before the game. So that may have been in the defensive meeting room earlier in the week, but I wasn't in the defensive meeting room earlier in the week. So.
In terms of recruiting, how big of a factor do you find it in your conversations with recruits? I mean, how much are they asking about NIL opportunities?
Every single kid asks about NIL opportunities. So every kid out there, because that's available to every kid out there. So I think almost every kid you're recruiting outside, that's just the nature of what recruiting has turned into when they change the rules. So that's a huge part of it.
How much do you think it's incumbent on the head coach or just the staff in general to help raise the profile of NIL collectives like Men of Westwood?
I think it's all incumbent on everybody. So you talk about it all the time, and you try to reach out to people to contribute to it, but you can't make someone contribute to it that doesn't want to contribute to it. So that's the same thing. It's no different than Josh Revolt's job of trying to raise money for the university for facilities and scholarships and things like that. That's just the nature of college athletics right now.
I know Mick over at basketball, he's talked about having to be a billboard wearing the Men of Westwood shirts and all that kind of stuff. Is that something that you would consider doing?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to donate money to me because I wear a Men of Westwood shirt. I think they donate money because they're proud of what the program stands for. And so what's the academic success? What are the type of players that you bring in the program? How do they represent the university? I think that's what people take pride in at UCLA, not the fact that someone wears a T-shirt. I don't get that part of it. I get that. I think what we put out there for a product, I think the student athletes that go to this school are an unbelievable representation of what this school is all about. These guys are all about books and ball. We have 22 kids that are in grad school right now. We have a 3.3 grade point average. We're playing football at a really, really high level. And I think that's what people get more proud of than is a guy wearing a T-shirt or not. So.
How's Kamari been progressing since leaving the game early?
Kamari's been good. Done a nice job on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and well, not Wednesday, Monday and Tuesday. So, we'll see how he goes for the rest of the week.
Thank you.
All right, guys.